Hello for another Ubi Forward, where we will once again be
Hooray.
seeing if Ubisoft can get people to stop hating them, for the moment being.
Thanks to leaks, we already know one particular thing that shows up that we're pretending we don't know. But
Also, good luck.
Plot twist is the only one.
Also, good luck, Ubisoft, because it's already been confirmed that we once again will not be seeing Skull and Bones. We will not be seeing any of the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake.
Deeper looks at Far Cry 6, Riders Republic, and Rainbow Six.
I guess these two are already vaccinated enough.
Possibly, yeah.
Neelam, I'm excited.
I'm excited! But yeah, okay.
That's the secret news. There's like invisible glass wall between them.
So-
like Indiana Jones.
So yeah, folks, you probably can tell that this E3 is off to a bit of a different start for us at SCWRM.
Okay,
Normally, we start off with
with
somebody like EA or Microsoft, but no, Ubisoft will be the first commentary that we cover.
Okay, this thing we're starting is a game that had already been delayed a couple of times. Originally was supposed to be called Rainbow Six Quarantine, but now after the nth delay, they decided to rename it to Rainbow Six Extraction. Which
Gee, I wonder
takes some,
why.
okay, from the thing that I've seen,
yeah.
it takes some inspirations from Death Stranding in terms of aesthetic, because the Rainbow Six team has to deal with these like nanomachine bioweapon that is like this black goop.
Anyway, for those who want a bit of a quick recap as to what else has come up this E3 so far that we looked at but aren't covering for our official commentaries, Death Stranding is coming to PS5, Elden Ring's a thing, and that's gotten a lot of praise, Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and,
There's there are updates for Among Us.
and yes, like Dwib said, Doki Doki Literature Cloud Plus. But yeah, also, what do you think the Sheriff class is going to do in Among Us, to you?
Probably some monitoring, but it's not for here. Honestly, I'm glad we're just dealing with this early as soon as they can, because again, Tom Clancy's masturbation is by far my least favorite thing, in a Ubisoft conference. So at least, as we say in my country, away with the truth, away with the pain. Here's hoping that the quality can only improve after this.
It just boggles my mind that when it comes to stuff that isn't like first-person shooters or Tom Clancy games, Ubisoft seems to have trouble making those for some reason.
It's also, okay, there's also the fact that regardless if we like them or not, these games have still huge fan bases, and make a lot of money. So that's probably one reason why they're doubling down on these things.
That's the thing though. When it comes to judging conferences, you should try your best to not let it be only showing stuff I don't care about. This sucks.
Oh, definitely. Like, okay, for example, a bad E3 conference was like Ubisoft's E3 of 2015, because the problem was oversaturation with that. They were all games that were pretty much the same genre and not much else. Same also with Ubisoft's E3 of 2019.
Okay, sorry, go on.
I'd say what makes a good conference is having one that's varied enough in quality here so that there's something for everyone. Again, obviously not everybody is going to like everything, but it does need to have some absolutely hype reveals as well. And yeah, we get it that stuff like this or Call of Duty does sell well, but this should not be all that dominates a conference.
Okay, I will say this, of all the Rainbow Six games, this is the one that interests me the most, because we're not against a generic drug cartel.
Zombies.
Not just even the garden variety. Again, these things that originate from Goop. It seems to be working more like, say, Left 4 Dead.
But yeah, Teo does bring a good point. Like, to give him credit, this actually does look like an interesting one.
I'm pretty sure Tom Clancy probably wouldn't have thought about this if he was still alive.
Okay, in terms of, okay, we already know not to expect Skull and Bones, but I'm also not expecting anything that was even tangentially to do with Michelle Ancel for reasons you can look up online.
Well,
honestly,
there's
Dwaves,
Beyond Evil still.
Like I said, Dwaves, they can simply just distance themselves from that.
Yeah. let's be honest, dudes, just because something's connected to
what is
National
this?
MCL does not mean that the company that let him get away with his crap is
okay.
going to suddenly not announce any games attached to him.
Yeah, but just stress it was a legend.
Richard. I'm your resident community developer.
Anyway, yeah, okay, now we're in the obligatory, you know, developer talking and gameplay showcases. Sure, fine by me.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's nice that they're showing the game.
To be fair, the trailer was one of those we're showing what the game is capable of doing without showing actual gameplay footage, but in sure, just, you know,
That
showcase.
said,
I mean,
Distraction
to
is
be
a
honest,
one-to-three
considering
player
how
co-op
powerful
experience.
consoles are
You might think you know what you're
nowadays,
getting into
gameplay.
since there's going to be some of your favorite
I
Rainbow Six
certainly hope
It's
not.
going to be completely different, because this
Honestly,
time, you're not
dweebs,
fighting against each other. You're coming together to face an
unless it's clear
unprecedented,
gameplay,
evolving
don't give them the
alien
benefit
threat.
of the doubt. Because
Even so, dudes, the way it was paced, the only way it could have been gameplay if it was like structural like Dragon's Lair.
let's not forget also, Dweebs, that an E3 has been an infamous place where sometimes people just put out completely different projects disguised as the same game. aka, you know, like, well, incredibly small packaged demos that in all reality aren't going to be the actual game.
Or sometimes they show something that is presented as gameplay footage at the start, and that turned out to be horseshit in the end.
Yep.
About Aliens Colonial Marine.
Yeah. Thanks, Randy, Andy.
You risk losing all your progress and upgrades. So stay on your toes and weigh every move you make.
Balancing that risk and reward scenario is going to be tough.
I will give them credit that these are some of the first employees in ages that seem to actually give a crap for the game. So,
or at least we're good at reading the script.
Although the actual developers, they better care.
It's more like Ubisoft has improved the way these kind of videos have to be done, especially because, again, they do not have to do any more on live, meaning that they have a bit better production value.
Well, they need all the good PR they can get, right?
That too. Honestly, the ventures of the financial situation of Ubisoft going constantly up and down, risky to be bought by Vivendi every 1 year or two, you know, is actually fascinating when you get down to it.
That's the thing. Ubisoft were a company who thought that they could get away with all their stuff, but are finding that it's catching up with them and hitting them in the pocketbooks too.
What are we facing off against?
Well, the black gulag sprawl is probably the first thing you will take on. It spreads to the map once your presence is detected.
And again, it's interesting they're taking this franchise to a new direction to begin with. This has never been a thing for Rainbow Six. Again, generic drug cartel,
like, you know,
terrorists.
Yeah, to give them credit, this is something new that the franchise is doing. It may still not be my cup of tea, but again, like I said with that Call of Duty game that appeared to be taking place in space, if you finally try to mix things up, maybe you might garner more of an audience.
I will say, because something positive, I will say that I like the fact that they have subtitles in the stream. They took advantage of the fact that this is pre-recorded to put in some subtitles.
Yes.
Not only did they do that, they also provided a separate link to a stream with audio description.
Really?
Yes, they did.
Well, when something pre-recorded, obviously they can do that.
Well,
something live, obviously they can't do that because, well,
honestly,
I know that they can do that. I'm just surprised that they actually did go the extra mile, given it is Ubisoft we're talking about.
We need all the PR we can get.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to
Yes,
say,
they
that
do.
being said,
I said
go
that
fuck
earlier.
yourself, Ubisoft.
See? We're even having all the description version of this. See? Isn't that thoughtful of us? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's thoughtful, now fuck you. Anyway.
So, if I understand correctly, this is basically Rainbow Six Siege meets Resident Evil meets The Predator.
Well, okay, Siege was more like you're confined in a small area, like a house, and you have to flee from terrorists. The usual Rainbow Six stuff, if I recall correctly, it's more your traditional team squad shooter in a larger map, which seems to be the case here.
That being said, I actually just thought of something, Shirai. Considering most of these things are going to be just digital pre-recorded stuff anyway, aside from another description alternative, I feel like we could have visual accessibility alternative where they have that color-coded thingy that the accessibility settings in games nowadays have.
I mean, yeah. Usually people are just fine when watching stuff on TV. Usually people are just fine with subtitles or audio description. You usually don't need to go that far. Whereas with a video game, there's a lot more interaction than just sitting there. So that wouldn't be entirely necessary, but it's not a bad idea.
Surprise.
The parasite generates sprawl, a substance that connects the whole ecosystem.
I've started using audio description more recently. It's very helpful.
Archaeans move faster in sprawl, but operators get slowed down.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
The squad can use their react light to see bioluminescent properties in Archaeans and in the environment.
Oh my god, these look a bit like some of the Venom symbiotes.
Contrast helps to better identify targets.
Again, it's exactly like always with these games. Like it looks serviceable, but that's it.
Okay, remember, this also was a project that has been delayed a couple of times already, so I get the idea that they took advantage of that and polished it as much as they could.
Really? This one's been in the oven for a while.
Well, this is going on. Let me see if I can get you, like, a sort of a full story.
Get out of there before the swarm appears. Don't push your luck.
Airlock, go!
There we go. Got him. There we go. Originally announced at E3 2019, if I recall correctly, called Rainbow Six Quarantine. Then, during October of that same year, it was delayed to the fiscal year of 2020-2021. Then they added the PS5 and Xbox Scarlet, well, it was called back then, versions. Then in October 2020 was announced it was delayed alongside with Far Cry 6 to, quarter year 2021 to 2022, and now we're getting this preview with the new title, Extraction. So hopefully we'll get a release date now.
It's right there. React Blade, do your thing.
Shank.
Okay, now that said, I do hope Ubisoft don't waste too much time on this shooter, because that is one of the many pitfalls they usually fall into, is wasting times on the wrong game.
Hey, Java. Remember the 2016 conference?
Oh, God.
Okay, I need to know the details because there's been so much shit these days, so please.
Basically, Gio, during the 2016...
that went on for what felt like an hour.
It went on... Yeah. Basically, Tio, Pedro's referring to that, well, I'm trying to think of a more descriptive way to say it other than that one open-world third-person shooter that they took forever on, but yeah.
Oh, the Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah.
Alright.
It got to the point that all of us, including Pixie, were complaining about it going on for too long. Because it really was.
And I was even going, you know what? You know what? I changed my mind. I bring back EA, and then when Pixie was as a group, even Jibba was all like, okay, no, at least EA at this point will be entertaining us with their bringing evilness. This is just.
Oh boy. I mean, again, look. Again, like I said, this sort of game ain't really my thing, but okay, fine. You are making something of it. That said, we've kind of spent almost a quarter of an hour on this, and like,
how long is this stream?
I think it's like an hour total.
I thought
usually there's
I thought they'd said it was gonna be 40 minutes for this one.
No, that's either Nintendo or both Nintendo and Square Enix are 40 minutes confirmed. We don't know that much about this one.
I was gonna say, that sounds more like a Nintendo Direct length kind of thing.
Yeah, Ubisoft's are on average an hour and a half at the very least.
And remember, that's also because they do this kind of thing. Remember, there was like 2 years ago that bit where the actor who plays the Punisher in the Netflix MCU series showcased with the dog.
Was that the 2019 Ubisoft?
Yes, I think it was 2019 because it was the same year of Keanu Reeves, and instead the dev team member of Tokyo VR Ghost.
Oh God!
The one that she's not even working on anymore.
Okay, guys. Yes, baby.
We don't have Skull and Bones. We don't have Prince of Persia. We're most likely not gonna have Beyond Evil 2. So we need to fill out this hour somehow.
So, Pedro, question. Of the Ubisoft commentaries we commented on, which do you think was the worst? E3 2015, E3 2016, or E3 2019?
2019 was the most disappointing. The worst was probably 2016.
I guess I can.
So again, like you said, operators can actually go missing in actions, and then you have to actually rescue them.
Also, dare we hope for a new Rayman game?
All right, we're almost done. I
Rescue
think.
underway. React still needs you.
React.
Operators, it's time to unite and stand together against this emerging threat. Squad up with friends in co-op, or step into the containment alone.
Stay tuned for more Rainbow Six Extraction intel coming very soon.
I guess the reason they spent so...
If you think fighting aliens is tough,
I guess the reason they spent so long on this is because they've been waiting to show it off for a while.
I suppose. Again, I just hope that...
Oh, wait, they're bringing Rocksmith back?
taught millions how to play guitar.
Huh.
Whether you're already an expert or just starting out, Rocksmith
I mean,
has
isn't
an
that
approach
genre
that's for
kind
everyone.
of dead in a row
Dead.
at this point?
Interactive way to learn guitar.
I guess that's the entire reason. There's no competition, so we try to, you know, capitalize on it.
Also, here's the thing, rhythm games of all types have a very consistent following.
Alright, let's have a
That
look.
genre will live forever.
Woo! Welcome to the future of music learning.
Rocksmith? What? Oh, what? Is Rocksmith a streaming service?
And it's even they probably use it similar to the Bethesda logo. So why?
Is Rocksmith a streaming service now? Rocksmith Plus?
Okay, Glibs, that just because you stick plus to something, that doesn't mean it's a streaming service.
Join us next year
Wait,
for our
what?
new streaming service, SCWRM Plus.
Hold on. So
Okay, it might actually be you have like a controller, and then it's a kind of an app that you can cover.
So basically, it's just something that shows you how to.
No, there you go. You take the song, and it might be similar to Ribbon, where you just give a song, take a song from the list, and then it adapts a sequence of Ribbon game based on it.
Well, this is certainly a thing.
Honestly, I kind of like it when they do that, because then you can pick whatever music you
Again,
want.
it's not for me, but this one at least seems more innovative for a standard Ubisoft announcement. So.
Here's my question. What does this have to do with video games?
Yes.
Yeah?
What does it have to do with video games?
It is a video game, Joe.
It's a rhythm game, Jova.
Yeah, this is a rhythm game.
Well, yeah, ask a simple question, you get a simple answer. What's that to do with video games? It's a video game.
Look, it's weird because it looks often more like one of those education softwares, but yeah, I guess there is technically that video game aspect.
Yeah, enjoy this. Yeah, sudden game announcement. Rayman is missing.
Rayman is already an educational game and it's terrible. Please.
Let's turn out the Sonic Schoolhouse.
Well, T.O. Shaq Fu got another game. I think the
Your
standards have
Your
long
journey.
passed them.
Also, Shaku is not an educational game.
Rocksmith, interactive music learning.
Oh, it's apparently PC and mobile.
Like you said, it's more of an app that provides a list of songs that you have tune with.
That's pretty.
And Rocksmith has truly
they use a
been
natural real guitar
as a lifelong gamer and a touring
just
musician.
Okay, I guess. How does the app detect what you're playing on the guitar strings?
Oh, maybe that's what I'm about to explain.
It's like I said though, this kind of feels a bit of a stretch to be called a video game. Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing. But like again, kind of pulling a bit of a stretch.
Oh, it
on
is more
some-
educational, apparently.
Of your favorite songs.
Yeah, that's sort of what I meant. And like,
to your
oh,
PC,
it's hard for me to
console,
really
or mobile
consider
device.
it.
Well,
a
it
video
still has a
game.
gameplay aspect.
As you play. Connecting with Rocksmith Plus will be easier
It's
than ever
nice,
now that you can use your phone as a microphone. Download the app. Log
So
in,
how long
sync
until
to
there's
Rocksmith
all the
Plus,
call-ins
set
about
it
there being
down,
malfunctions
and play
because
along.
you're not holding
Now,
the
acoustic
guitar
players
just
and
right
electric
to the
players with amps
microphone?
Can use Rocksmith Plus
Yeah, I was gonna
with
say, because
no
it seems like you don't
extra
need to
gear
connect
needed.
it like with a wire necessarily, like an amp. It will just pick up the sound on the microphone.
Not only that, but I feel like other people have kind of done recognition software like this before. That, like, well, I don't think it's as groundbreaking as they think it is, but yeah, I mean,
they're trying to sell you something, Jova. They're not gonna say, here's this thing.
Oh, obviously, obviously, it's just that again.
Actually, over here in my country, we have a brand of flying oil that literally has its marketing based around that, where they basically do this anti-marketing thing where they go, usually in flying oil commercials they talk about how there's these clever puns and it shows how very varied you can use it. But we decide to spend our marketing budget on actually making the product itself better. So here's our marketing. It flies. That's what you need to know.
It's oil.
I think the best way to sum up my thoughts of this particular announcement is like, well, it feels like I'm being sold more a service than an actual video game. And again,
considering they straight up said subscription, I'm more inclined to agree with you now.
Yeah.
Well, it might be a useful tool.
This is something that's going to be good for musicians and people who want to learn music, but not for me.
I just don't like that kind of thing. Aside from the rhythm, actual thing, the way the layer is structured, that looks like magic to me. I don't know what to do with it.
It's a good thing, but it has a small target, a very small target audience.
The main reason
What's this become the highest selling video game of all time?
Technique by technique across the board. And
again, this is sort of a thing. It's another recurring issue of Ubisoft. How they really stretch it with what we could consider video game related in their conferences. Let's not forget their passion for those music videos every now and then that would interrupt E3.
Okay, I must have missed them mentioning before, but I get here the official news says that Rainbow Six Extraction launches on September 16th, so very early date.
Why did you guys own the guitar?
Thank you so much.
My sister does.
My sister used to.
Supported Rocksmith.
My brother does.
10 years.
We only have an ocarina here.
Jam together with Rocksmith Plus for another 10.
Not even a kazoo, Shiroi. How disappointing.
I mean, I can buy a kazoo, but you'll all regret it probably.
That being
talking about Siri, you can do the whole soundtrack for Yoshi's New Island.
Who wants Megalovania on the kazoo?
That being said, though,
you can sing the second half of the Life is Beautiful.
That being said,
oh my god, I could.
That being said, though, guys,
who's gonna whistle?
That being said,
you whistle. Joba, you whistle. Sure, we'll put the
Alright, update for that MMO sports we've seen last year.
Anyway, now keep in mind, guys, though, we're nearly at the halfway point if this thing's only an hour long, so...
Well, not much, it's 20 minutes in, so more like, I guess, a third.
Well, technically 23 minutes in because it started at 3, so again, we're getting close to the halfway point. Assuming that this...
Like I said, Pedro, it's an update for that game they announced last year.
Well, okay, this is... Okay, I remember this being somewhat fine, so fine.
Learn to nail those wild moves. Stay stylish.
Riders Academy, I think that's what's its label. It's the same as what's its labels on the poster.
Did this game come out or is it still in development?
Yeah, like I said, Pedro, it came out and this is an expansion update for it.
So how is the game?
It
seems fine. It's just, again, for its own audience.
Okay.
Rick's battle.
So, here's how it works. Performing big tricks on the modules will turn them from red to blue, and every trick that you stop...
Oh boy, it's red versus blue!
Yeah, I remember actually seeing this kind of mechanic already in one of the early trailers. I guess we finally managed to implement it.
That's the thing, Jova. For some reason, the color red and the color blue are always the eternal lie, but it's just something in sports over here, something in sports, in British country as well.
It's mostly like because again, mostly similar primary colors, but they're opposite. One represents coldness, columns and stuff, while the other the polar opposite.
Yes, pride and all that stuff. Okay. To give Ubisoft credit, more variety, that's good. That said, the game just looks fine, and nothing more.
Now, some might say the best parts of the Republic can be found in the city playground.
That's the problem, Joe. When it comes to Ubisoft, the best we can always expect, it seems to be just fine.
Yeah. Unless it's...
You always point the Ubisoft chat is in public, gee, I wonder why.
Maybe you're all about living
Because
on
it
the
would
edge.
weigh down the servers even
Either
more.
way, to progress, you gotta
Not
earn
just that,
those
they don't want
stars.
to- Isn't a
Having
Nintendo
the right
screen.
rig is important too. We've all got our preferences.
Maybe Nintendo. Oh, well, to be fair, Shiroy, Nintendo are competent
you
enough to
doing?
not screw up a port of Tetris. I mean,
All right,
again,
I
it
get it.
looks
Sometimes
fine,
you just
but
want to
nothing
explore,
about it really screams
bathe in nature.
"buy me."
I guess if you're into the crazy sport genre in general, this is definitely for
again,
you.
same thing. Again, this is
That's
something
right.
made for fans
Everything
of
you
radical
do
sports.
Getting those
Hey, you know,
stars
you know, it's a
will
shame from what
rad
I've
to
heard
be
that
had,
apparently
and
the
the
latest
Republic
Watch Dogs
will
game
abide.
turned out to be
There's always
just
something
fine
awesome
because
to
that
do
game had a
to
lot of
reach
hype
new
going behind it,
milestones
but
and unlock
when
more
it came out, it was just,
It's
it's
the Red
fine,
Bull
but
Joyride.
not amazing like we were led to believe it would
It's
be.
spectacular.
No, it's not even that, Joe. It simply just came out and not many people just talked about it and just, played it.
Well, that's the thing, though. From what I've heard from the people who bought it, they're like, it's fine, it's good if you're really, really into that stuff, but there's no real call for saying, oh, guys, you gotta try this game out or something, which is weird, because, again, going off of the hype for that game, you'd have thought it would have been a grand slam,
And the
but
natural outdoor
apparently
playground
not.
for you and your friends to enjoy.
Oh,
Any
ET
way that
reference,
you
of
want.
course.
I mean, why not?
No.
Cute.
When we say fun with everyone, we mean it. Look at all these riders.
All for one and one for all.
Does this speak to you? Then don't miss out on mass races. Woo!
Love us, we're relevant, y'all.
I mean, we're not using the term lit, so there is that.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
They still have enough
They're not
time.
great
in the-
dweebs.
They're French.
Or Canadians. I think this is the third. I forgot which specific team is handling this. Oof.
There was actually
Wipeout.
a couple of years ago. There was actually an Xbox Live where one of the hosts literally said, "This is gonna be lit." I even showed it to Shiroy, and she was cringing at it.
The awkward
This
high
date, 2nd of
five.
September.
The awkward high five made me
Don't keep
cringe
the
the
mountains
most,
waiting.
honestly.
Riders
Yeah.
Republic is coming September 2nd.
Oh,
You can
actually, I
pre-order now.
forgot. The game hadn't
Claim your
been
right
released
to
yet, and it's about to be released this year. Sorry.
Okay
So
then.
we've seen some of our favorite Rainbow Six operators battling alien parasites. But how's their
Rainbow
day job
Six
going?
again?
Oh
Ever
my
since
god,
Crimson
are you
Heights,
kidding
we're
me?
still trying to clear
Oh
all those
my
pesky
God,
Flores
please,
drones
No,
on
no,
maps.
no, 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 come on,
Year 6 is off
Ubisoft.
to a blazing start, with Siege passing 200,000 concurrent players a
Oh,
few weeks
God,
ago.
Rainbow-
If you haven't
maybe-
joined in
okay,
yet,
maybe they're just
2021
talking
is the
about it,
perfect
hold on.
time to drop in.
It sounds like they're going to have another.
I thought the subtitle said 2012.
Nope, never mind.
Feels
It's
like
right.
the game's got
No,
a-
never mind. It's Rainbow Six Siege again.
Hey, Rainbow Six Siege again. That game that Ubisoft. Okay, yes, Ubisoft. I get it. This game has netted you a lot of the monies. But gosh dang, maybe it's time to.
6 years
Evolve
into our
more.
journey with Siege, we are
Like,
humbled
keep in
and
mind, guys,
grateful
this
for
was
the
a game old enough to have been around
enthusiastic community
before
that
Tom
has supported
Clancy
this one.
died, if
today
I recall
is all
correctly.
about sharing
I don't
quality of
remember
life development
how
that
long
will
exactly.
dramatically improve player
Oh
experience.
boy, and okay.
Every day,
But don't you
we've
see,
been hard at
Joe?
work finding
We're
ways
keeping the
to improve
memory
your
of Tom
ability to play with
Clancy
your friends
alive.
and meet
See?
Yeah.
It's very bad like
On
such a
June
thing as a
30th,
Clancy
we are
estate that
unifying
is
our
allowing this
PC
to
and
happen.
cloud-based platforms with crossplay and cross
Probably.
progression.
Well, Tail, more monies. Remember, Tail. The
Well, it
Montcalm-
doesn't always work that way, Pedro. Remember, like the Tolkien estate did through several beachy histories towards New Lane Cinema despite the Lord of the Rings movies being successful.
So I get that doesn't always work, Tail, but there's a lot of estates that are willing to bank off their ancestors' legacy. Like the Montgomery estate is still selling a book that's public domain.
It will finally allow you to play with your friends.
Anyway, Java, the thing is that usually for this kind of update, because I know a couple of people, some of my friends who actually plays this game. Basically, the consistent updates for Siege have been mostly what kind of character do you play as and their respective operator, which get the appeal of being of different nationalities, ethnicities, and encrypted personalities to boot.
That's nice, I guess.
We cannot thank you enough for your support. It is because of
but
you.
That said, would you say that the changes have been substantial enough to, you know...
Yes, again, it managed to garner enough interest to still be played these days by consistently, you know, large amounts of people, Jova.
Then I guess we could consider this
animated short. Yeah, if I recall correctly, some of these new announcers, like, you know, operators, have been accompanied by some kind of shorts, and I think this is tied to one of them.
So I guess we can essentially consider the Rainbow Six Siege thing a necessary evil, then?
Well, again, if you just happen to not like it, yes.
I mean,
I just don't care.
I don't know. When it comes to Rainbow Six Siege, I get wanting or needing to focus on certain games, but every time they bring it up, it's like they're wanking off to it.
Bravery.
I will say this bit seems fine so far because it seems to be like new information. It's kind of necessary, but the other stuff seemed to drag a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind them talking about it because it is like some new content and it is their biggest moneymaker. So I kind of expect them to, you know, spend the most time on it. But I still feel like it could have been presented a little better. I don't know.
I think you summed up the main reason why we tend to take more issue when Ubisoft do certain things. It's because they tend to always drag on those certain things. Like, well, if it was like, you know, maybe a minute or two dedicated to this or that.
bear.
Yes, a bear. Maybe if like they only spent like a minute or two on certain things that we've seen before, but okay, you want to mention is getting new stuff, that'd be fine. It's when they drag, and they do drag like 90% of the time.
What happened next?
And it just becomes annoying.
Why don't you ask yourself?
I wonder what animation team did this.
I'll say this though, at this point, I'm almost surprised Rainbow Six doesn't have its own special Ubisoft show or whatnot with how much they love it.
New projects aren't the only things to be excited about this year. Take a look at the incredible updates coming to our live games in 2021.
Okay, I guess a montage.
Alright.
Montage about updates for their games.
Oh wait.
Yo. I think it's like in Brawlhalla, I think, as a cameo. Also, For Honor is also still active. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. Okay, now For Honor's definitely been a good game.
They even have an entire update based on Prince of Persia to boot.
Yeah. Trackmania.
Trackmania.
Oh, wait. Oh my god.
The logo makes it look like
Yes, Jova?
I was wondering if Trackmania is that interesting racing game that actually can have some dragsters literally start by dropping from
Brawlhalla?
From blimps.
No, that was the crew, I think.
Was it? Not sure. Anyway, yeah, TMNT and Brawlhalla.
The crew too, there it is.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure the crew was the one I was thinking of.
The crew, to remember, is the one that introduced so many different types of vehicles, so it might be that one where they just, you know, cut up from it. Watch Dogs Legion, I discussed this off commentary. Apparently this DLC episode reunites both Aid and Pierce from the first game and the protagonist from the second in a small episode where they have to cooperate together. That is pretty neat, actually.
Neat. Return to Watch Dogs. And Mirage.
Reject the technology.
See, okay.
So this is a montage of all their live games, so what do they have to fill out the rest of the conference?
Well, I guess new stuff. That's what they said.
Oh boy, Ghost Experience.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint. This is the one that the Crew played the Punisher with the Splinter Cell cameo, if I recall correctly, yeah.
Wait, it feels like the 20th anniversary of that one game you keep showing off.
Stay tuned, Ghosts.
Probably expect to see some of that during the show.
Next.
Just Dance has always been about connecting with
Oh,
friends.
there it is.
Just
I mean, it's not a Ubisoft showcase if they don't have the just, you know, dancing minigame.
Sadly, no longer on the Wii.
Alright,
is it still for the Wii U, actually?
No. They dropped, that's the thing, you know, they dropped Wii U support before Wii support.
That's sad. With a very special guy, don't tell me it's Aisha Tyler.
Why would...
It's, Triangle.
Todrick Hall.
Todrick Hall.
Artist and performer. I guess, again, he's a musician or singer.
I don't know who he is.
And just like to be in tune with the other Ubisoft concerts, this is probably an official song that they probably want to use sporadically because copyright's a bitch.
It's not like Summer Games Fest where they gave us a wonderfully streamer-friendly music.
Todrick, you know what? In order to express yourself with dance, you can just dance. You don't need Just Dance for that.
But don't you see, Pedro? Just Dance helped me find my wife. Just Dance helped cure my cancer. Just Dance is amazing.
And that kind of stuff can happen, but I mean, I seriously doubt somebody buys a game because it might get them to know to meet certain people.
I mean,
also, Jova, I get the feeling this guy may not exactly have a wife.
Now, to be fair, Shiroi, let's not assume.
Not to say something like that, but
also, I get the idea that, you know, for a period where a lot of people still had to be in quarantine for one reason or another, this is actually, you know, a good entertainment source.
Also, Shiroi, did you just assume something about this guy?
Hey. Listen.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Moving on.
I mean, look.
I'm a little more qualified to speak on this shit, okay?
Yes, an Ubisoft original, including 40 new songs.
So is it just on Switch?
No, I think... yeah, there we go.
Okay.
No,
everywhere. Even Stadia.
What? No PC? I'm so disappointed.
Actually, Stadia, so it is PC.
It is on the PC.
Yes, because there you go, Jova. Stadia now got its core app.
It was a
Just
big year
Dance
for the new
2022.
chief of Regiment.
There you
Your
go.
journey with Eivor is far from over.
Oh, I think it's DLC time for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I swear I thought they had already released all the DLCs. Whatever.
I'll admit, this is a pretty lengthy time they've gone without us announcing a new Assassin's Creed game. Granted, the Assassin's Creed team were busy with Gods and Monsters.
It's even the fact that, again, Assassin's Creed at this point, I would even say to jump the shark, but it's not even that. Yeah, it's not even that, Reeves. It's the fact that they decided to abandon most of the stuff that they built the franchise upon.
You know what's sad, Tio? Immortals Fenyx Rising is arguably the best-selling game that the Assassin's Creed team have made in years.
Yeah.
Does the Assassin's Creed name still, you know...
Yes, despite everything, Pedro, they still are trying to continue in the ongoing plotline of the struggles between Assassins and Templars and the corresponding modern subplot. The problem is that, again, it's clearly just not the focus anymore.
Okay, to be fair, I think Paige was asking, like, if Assassin's Creed is still a name that prints money.
Yes, it does.
Well, okay, it does, but not nearly as much as it used to. Like, again, like I said, it's notable that Immortals Fenyx Rising is the best-selling game that the Assassin's Creed team have made in ages. People have been losing interest in Assassin's Creed left and right. It started with Assassin's Creed 4, where the plot was clearly going off the rails, and then by, like,
Actually, Jova 4 was seen mostly as a comeback, especially after 3. It's after that he started losing steam.
Yeah.
With both Rogue and Unity.
Well, okay. Do give credit to hold on. Do give credit to Rogue. I'd say that Rogue wasn't so much part of the problem. It was more just that Rogue was the game that they should have focused on, but of course that was the more handheld one at the time. So instead they focused on Unity, and Unity sucked.
Plus there was that failed attempt to try and branch the series out with now Disney's Assassin's Creed.
Also, I love how on the Motobug chat a user said, for a second I didn't even know what series this was until I saw that hashtag in the top right. Topical, given Assassin's Creed has kind of been getting flack for losing its identity.
Yeah, do we even get an Assassin's Night costume in this game? I don't think so.
Not from what I know.
Yeah, because, you know, Vikings are known for their stuff.
Players may be excited to learn that black box
we're 4 minutes in Ubisoft. You might want to bring out the big guns if you have any.
These are the big guns.
I mean, we're still supposed to get that Mario plus Rabbids game, so I guess they are saving it for last.
Well, honestly, that might be the best thing they've got.
Yeah, that's the best thing they've got. See, we have a new Mario and Rabbids. You
Hey,
like that, don't
guys,
you?
I just want to remind you, Ubisoft have pretty much given up the notion that nothing interesting enough in feudal Japan has happened for that to take place in an Assassin's Creed game. But no, instead they went with the ever-so-stealthy Vikings.
We did this kind of exact joke like 1 year ago or something.
Don't worry, Joe, but that's what Ghost of Tsushima is for.
Or
even Sekiro.
That'd be like if you made that'd be like if you made an Ace Attorney spin-off involving Gumshooter and a first-person shooter.
Sekiro is more of a... Well, Sekiro is a From Software game too. I've heard, from what I've been told, apparently Ghost of Tsushima is much more similar to us.
With their mechanics, the Sekiro does work since you have to stealth your way through a lot.
And yes, I know he's a police detective, but this first-person shooter really fit his character.
I suppose, to be fair, what you described was a spin-off, which does have more leniency, but yeah, I do see your point.
Also, Dwebs, it's kind of like the same thing with Sam and Max. Sam has a gun, but it's only we turn the games into first-person shooters outside of 1 or 2 mini games.
Oh?
He made a pizza?
Remember, the name of the expansion it's called Rap of the Druids, so I think Panoramix is pissed.
Yes.
More to come.
No, it's the rival druid from Secret of the Magic Potion.
Oh no, they're the villains from Mystery of the Druids.
So you've seen some great games.
That name of the game.
Oh no.
Alright, let's see what's next.
No, why?
And here we go!
Film and television.
Okay.
Alright, Joe, but now you can ask the question.
Maybe we're seeing the Rayman Netflix series.
Apple TV Plus!
Okay, it's a show called Mythic Quest that they help produce.
So, yeah, video games, am I right, guys?
Being inspired.
I was emotionally manipulated.
What's the difference?
What, were you playing in the David Cage game?
Where are my video
Better
games?
than ever. What do you mean better than ever? Isn't this like the first
Wait,
season?
Abed?
No, it's up to 2 seasons.
Is that actually Birch?
I think so.
Okay, 100% Rotten Tomatoes, I find that unlikely.
Ash, what are you doing here?
I think she also writes for this show as well.
I mean, I'm
Oh, that is gone already. Alright.
I'm guessing Verizon isn't
Oh boy, Werewolves Within.
Yeah, that's the thing. Pedro, she also writes the show.
Hello everyone,
I am
Josh.
So, Ubisoft have officially resorted to that old chestnut of essentially being... Oh, well, you know guys, games are fine. But here's a bit about TV and movies.
What's with the alpaca-looking thing behind the camera?
Because it's a cute little wolf, Roy.
I told you, she's probably tanked.
So basically, it's a whodunit story involving werewolves.
I mean, sure. You know what we'd rather, Ubisoft? Products are based on your IPs. I know that the Prince of Persia and Assassin's Creed movies did not work as you wanted, but it should not give you the excuse to not try again.
I would argue that the Assassin's Creed film messing up was completely on them too, but yeah.
How about a Rayman cartoon?
Again, we're supposedly still getting that one on Netflix, but again, we haven't seen jack shit of it yet.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Ranger Wheeler. You could be one
You
of
know, it's
yeah. Again, what does this have to do with Ubisoft?
You know, I'm starting to see a pattern, guys. Usually,
it's based off one of their games.
Guys, I'm starting to notice a pattern of our interactions with Ubisoft. We start off giving them the benefit of the doubt, only for them to do exactly what we were hoping they wouldn't do.
Also, I can assure you, this doesn't. Ubisoft don't really have anything that has werewolves in it, as far as I know.
No, this is not based off of one of their games.
Oh, based on the
popular video game.
Okay, you never heard.
You never heard of it.
Very funny.
We're here for games, Ubisoft.
This is based on the game. A game that you never heard of. So.
Jova, please, just quote me Fresh of Bel-Air.
Video game adaptation.
Where are the video games? Where are my video games at?
I don't know what that video game is.
Is a video game adaptation of this going to be announced right after?
No, Shiro, Mayonnaise is not a video game.
I get the feeling that they're just being cheeky about it, and it's not really based off of the game.
Follow Mythic Quest on Apple TV Plus, and be sure to catch
Oh,
Werewolves
Mystic
Within this
Quest.
summer.
Yeah.
I shall not. Bye.
Okay, Ubisoft, we're at the 45-minute mark now. Can we move on?
After all, even the most vile tyrant is a star of their own narrative.
When it comes to memorable villains, no one does it better.
Wow,
than Far
really? The game is literally about to come out and you still have time for an announcement for Far Cry 6. Look, yes, the actor playing the villain is amazing, I know that. It's just...
Yep, this is an Ubisoft E3 show, alright. Good to have you back, guys.
He gave up his ticket.
Did we ever laugh to Jova at this point?
Well, Ubisoft have anything last year, Bob.
There was the forward in August, if I recall correctly. Boy wasn't present for that.
Let them on. Good man.
Get out of boxing now.
Yeah, just go. Gadis and Judas, because these people are probably gonna be betrayed.
Gracias.
It's symbolic and stuff.
Normally I'd say that would be ridiculous, but this is Ubisoft, so that's probably exactly what they're going to do.
We should be fighting, not running to the Yankees. Alejo gave you a fucking gift, Lira. We survive. Same as the orphanage, same as the academy.
You know, it's a good thing that, if I recall correctly, most of these games are not in continuity with each other, because otherwise the Far Cry, if it was a shared universe, the Far Cry one would be a very shitty place to live at, because at this point, most major countries have been ravaged by these macro tyrants. Including America itself. Yeah, I think it's him. Yeah, it's him. I keep forgetting the name of the actor. The guy who plays Gus in Breaking Bad. Or Grand Moffat in the... Sorry, a character in The Mandalorian too.
Love to fish. We would go out on a boat, just like this. And we would catch the fish.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito, there you go.
He would say, it's not always about your stomach, mijo. It's about the challenge. Except when he caught a big, fat, juicy marlin, he was too proud to let that fish go.
Oh dear.
You have poisoned Yana! You have poisoned your sword!
Yeah, what do you think? What do you thought was gonna happen?
I've caught a very big fish today.
And he just carries on like nothing happened.
That's the kind of thing with ever since 3, Ubisoft started to milk the shit out of having the villains of Far Cry being very cookie.
Dun dun dun! It turns out Diego was among them, and
because that's his son. Remember, if I recall correctly, was also in the posters.
Choice.
Let them go. They can work. Make Vivido.
Truth or lies?
Truth.
They could be good workers. They could help rebuild paradise.
But that's the answer.
Good. You would have never set foot on this fucking boat. 13 years old. And Diego has
Kids, am I right?
compassion for his people. These
please forget that this ever happened with what little life you have left.
we will catch and release.
Yeah, translation, all of you are about to die. Enjoy. Exactly. Again, the name of the fucking boat.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll make up for a great movie.
Oh, please don't tell me that now we're having another gameplay demonstration of this.
Lesson from Anton Castillo,
Okay, sure.
passed down to his son Diego as he grooms him to become the future ruler of Yara. The most important part of crafting a Far Cry villain isn't the fact that they're evil or shocking. It's that there's someone that could sit across from you at the dinner
I think
table.
this is the thing about
and charm you
Ubisoft.
into
Unless you're
thinking that
absolutely
everything they believe,
dedicated
no matter how
to one of their
twisted or
franchises, chances are you run the
could
risk
be
of being
absolutely
bored.
true.
Like, with a lot of other
That's the
companies,
secret
you
to
can
a
at least
power.
expect that they'll
And we
give something that
couldn't
could
be
interest
prouder
you
to
even
have
if
him
you
join
weren't
the
a
Far Cry
die-hard fan
family.
of a series.
Now,
But with
when
Ubisoft,
creating
it feels
Anton,
like I
we
need to
had
be a
quite a lot to
die-hard
live up
fan
to.
of most of their
Because when you
franchises to
think
be
Far Cry,
interested.
you think about its rich legacy of villains.
I mean, this franchise
Notice
Which
we haven't
makes
shown anything
a
from
very
Far Cry
special
1 and
day for
2.
Far Cry fans.
Why
This
is
franchise like
that?
27 years
We
old
get
now.
to see into the mind of Anton Castillo. We finally get to unveil
Is there
some
like
of
Persona
our
1 and 2
plans.
case where they just don't
Our
exist?
dream
Also
was to honor
GTA,
the Far
yes,
Cry
Chiro.
villain's tradition and introduce a
Okay,
brand
so
new
what's different about the
experience.
first two Far Cry games?
They're just fine, we just didn't introduce a couple of the staples that will be more recurring. But Far Cry 2 is actually very well regarded, you know. Like, if it's something like, say, Primal, I can understand it because it's, also, is this Far Cry 3 Remastered? Like a collection or something?
Tell your mother and sister to...
That is all that matters. It's like a crossover.
Yeah, that's from Far Cry 5.
Peekaboo, motherfucker.
You are Vas.
Fuck am I?
No.
Yeah, Vas was. Oh, it's a game based around one of the main villains of. Oh, wait, hold on.
Like a side story?
Hold on.
Ooh.
Yeah, it seems to be a game based around the villains of the previous 3 games.
When you get to play as them.
Like I was saying, like again, Far Cry Primal makes sense because it's just, you know, a spin-off that had not much ambition to begin with, so I can imagine why we did not want to count
Or
that.
is it like that? What was that Far Cry game that looked like an 80s throwback?
An expansion from Far Cry 3.
Yes, I remember. Oh, I
but
get it.
But it's you in their place. Far Cry 6 is on
6.
pass.
Oh boy, that's my favorite.
Also including. I guess that's the 80s throwback for that.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon, I think it's called. Yeah, there you go. So, Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon Remastered. Why not remastering
I literally
even...
just talked about it and it showed up.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why not just remastering 3 in the first place, which include all the packages?
Jumper, is this my predicted
Neil, I can't wait to get my hands on this one.
Be able to, you know, say a game and then it comes up.
Oh, there it is. Mario plus Rabbids 2. Alright, here we go. Mario, you don't know how to read.
He's looking at the pictures, Tio.
Oh.
Maybe Rabbit Peach is the one reading it.
Now the rabbits are combining with the Lumas, I think.
Aww.
Yes.
So
no.
So I wonder, is like the idea that this is continuing...
Oh my god, it's Sidious.
I want a plush, and I want it now.
Shoot it. Just
no.
Pull the trigger, Mario.
It's cute.
So I wonder if the idea is like, well, the anomaly field is still continuing from the first game.
I guess so, because again, the altered rabbits are there.
So, plot twist, this on PS5.
So
This is going to be released in a packet with Galaxy 2.
What?
Did the first game have some kind of out there ending? Because why did we go full Star Trek?
Wait, someone's corrupting them.
The entire thing behind the first game, I think, was like a digital bug or something that even corrupted Bowser at the end. But if I recall correctly, it had been resolved, so I guess, you know, it's just back.
That's the thing. This game suggests that there's someone now corrupting the anomalies.
I still found it hilarious, but these of all things has managed to give Mario a fucking gun.
And now he dual wields. Wait. Oh
but yeah,
boy,
Rosalina Rabbit Rosalina.
Still no Daisy. Tisk.
I like her already.
Does this mean we're gonna see Rosalina packing heat eventually too?
Oh god, everything's dead.
Whoa.
Did the Eggman machine from Sonic Close World happen to be around here?
It's Mario Act 0.
Oh no, it's a villain, I guess.
Wait, Meowser Rabbit Edition? Basically, Bowser
Are we getting
the
a Cabot?
Oh snap!
We're getting bombs.
So basically,
yeah, it doesn't look like a Rabbit Bowser thing.
That's the thing. It's Cat Bowser, but a Rabbit Edition, it seems.
Yeah, I guess this is supposed to be the main villain, this Eldritch thing.
Well, you know, this is already the best thing of the show. And look, Peach has an umbrella gun now.
It literally looks like a Smash Bros. Trailer.
It does.
Oh god.
Sparks of Hope. Yeah, this is
World
literally
of
what
Light,
happened in
you
this
know?
conference.
Okay, now Ubisoft, this is something I would actually like to see the gameplay of.
Hey, it's Milan!
Well, this is developed by
Ubisoft Milan. God, it's been so long since I've seen the dome.
Yeah, what are you doing
here? Super proud of this new game, and I can't wait for you to experience it.
You know what? You guys did amazing with the first game, so sure, I'm on.
Honestly, it's also pretty neat that these guys are actually managing to make a name for themselves, because remember, Ubisoft Milan until this point was only just a supporting role for stuff like Assassin's Creed.
And now after Mario plus Rabbids, there might as well. They could potentially become the best known of Ubisoft studios.
And hey, again, of all games, these are the ones that makes the Rabbit non-super cringy.
I know, right? Again, Mario plus Rabbids was amazing for pulling off a crossover that nobody was really looking forward to, but hell, now a sequel to it is arguably the most exciting thing we're getting out of Ubisoft.
Including some fresh faces like Rabbit's Rosalina and other surprises. On their quest
Daisy.
to
Rosalina have a different name in
across the galaxy,
yes, this is called Rosalinda for some reason.
from planet to planet. They will be
If I recall correctly, let me just check to be sure.
Cursor.
We tend to do with a lot of stuff, but most of the Mario characters' names usually are intact.
But they won't be alone.
So yeah, there's an entire galaxy to save from this new powerful villain.
These eldritch things.
And these things are called the Sparks.
Born from the merge of rabbits and Lumas will lend their wild power
by this unholy union.
Their natures and origin
I love them.
I wonder, how can it get even more cursed in a third game to you?
I don't know, and I'm not sure I want to know.
After the tremendous
there you go. In Japan, Rosalina is called Rosetta, so I think the idea is that it just has a name for different countries. Let me
reception
see.
from players across the world. We were stunned by the love we felt for this unexpected team-up.
This
We know it's
definitely
been
feels
off the
like the
radar
most
for a while
genuine
now.
of
It means yes.
of the game dev speaks.
To the next level.
And that means yes
It's not
also.
just a new story
Yes.
with new enemies, new heroes. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope has big ambitions. It introduces new action elements into the mix that will push the boundaries of tactical games even further.
Probably still Grand
Carol.
Careful. He did it from the first game, so why not?
Experience for all players. yet hard to master for those of you that are willing to take the
No
challenge.
kidding, the first
You'll be
one,
able
like
to
any good
experience this
XCOM
cosmic
clone,
adventure
is exactly that.
exclusively on the Nintendo
Easy
Switch.
to understand with the mechanics, but if you wanna go full through, good luck.
Oh, you've played it
There's
too,
an
Shirai?
entire galaxy to
Yeah,
see,
I have it.
and we can't
Oh.
wait for you.
Maybe you could do that
to
for the
experience.
channel.
That would be a co-op.
Gameplay
run, I
sneak
think.
peek to pre-alpha footage. Alright, here we go. Why not?
Okay, again, this is already the best thing from this Ubisoft Forward so
Oh,
far.
Well, that happened.
Oh. Indeed. Wait, oh my god, was that a Mario Kart spaceship I just saw? Also, will Rabbit Peach still continue to pine for Mario's
Also,
heart?
Rabbid Luigi has a new costume, too.
Yeah. So, are they gonna continue with Rabbit Peach's whole pining for Mario shtick?
Probably.
Ah. Also, I noticed a Captain Toad Rabbit. Nice.
The proper name would be Captain Rabbit.
Oh, this really seems to be more action-based.
Oh?
And who are you?
I am Cloud's sister, Sky.
That's Lightning Loser.
Seriously though, who is that rabbit supposed to be?
Alright, do we also have a release date? Next year. Alright, fair enough.
Reasonable.
So we're not done yet. Let's check in with our CEO, Yves Guillemot.
Are you
Yves
sure you want to do
Guillemot.
that?
Yeah!
Are you sure you want to do
Why
that?
are you still there?
That's not you could have ended well on a good note with that Mario and Rabbids game, but no, you had to bring Eves in here.
Hey, you have a punchable face.
I really get the idea this guy has such a big ego, because remember, at each conference he wants to step up and say, you know, like, not necessarily his last word, but he wants to have a word, nonetheless.
Sometimes less is more, my dude.
But yeah, I was checking, yes, Rosaline is called Rosaline in my country, in French it's called Harmonie, for some reason.
I'm also proud of our industry's ability to bring together millions of players from around the world.
Yes, and
to share
hatred
memorable
of
experiences
you.
Against you, yeah.
moments of joy. This is one
Joy
of the
when you
real
lost
powers
stocks and
of video
crashed
games.
down on the financial listing.
Motivates everyone
He talks
at
about
Ubisoft
employee
to do
harmony
our
after all the
best.
shit that's happened.
Finally,
Oh,
Yeah, the
God.
shit that
my
he let
sincere thanks
perpetrators
to
get
you,
away with.
the players. We appreciate the trust you place in us.
But we don't
Your
have. You know
involvement in our
what?
games
Some do, Shirai,
What did I just say?
that's still the face of a matter, sadly.
I know.
I mean, let's be honest here, that's the minority at this point.
Shirai, this speech is not for us, this speech is for the investors.
That too.
The speech is for the
Also
people who
proud
just
that
throw money
some
and
of
don't
the
care.
biggest names in entertainment trust our
Which
creative
you have
teams
something,
to develop games
Joe?
within
Yeah,
their
you.
universe.
By the way, buddy, you fell
For
off
example,
that listing
you
and
just
CD
saw
Projekt Red
Mario
took your
plus
space.
Rabbids Sparks
I assume
of
they'll
Hope,
be down there with you
developed in
eventually, though, given their own
collaboration with
shenanigans, but
where
still.
Oh,
everyone's
yes.
favorites.
Oh
Every
yeah.
Rabbids
Basically,
character
translation. Please love our
return
crossover
for
with
all new
Nintendo. That's the one thing that is. That's pretty much our secret. Do not hate us
Speaking
anymore
of great
weapon. So
partnerships,
please enjoy it.
There is one
Because
more
Nintendo fans will
exciting
like
thing
anything.
we would like to show you
Eh?
today.
Oh, but
It is
there's
a
one
glimpse
more thing
of
they
the
want to
amazing
show us.
journey
I mean,
that awaits
please
you
tell me
in
it's Beyond
one
Good
of
and
the
Evil
most
2.
beautiful but dangerous places of all.
Space.
Brought to life by the latest version of our Snowdrop engine.
Snowdrop
I'm
engine.
Which
excited
means,
to
guys,
share this first look with you now.
another year without anything
Enjoy.
UbiArt related.
Ooh, ouch.
It's dead by this point, Eric.
Wait, gameplay footage powered by Snowdrop.
The engine, as we mentioned.
I would have said GameStop, and I'm like, wait,
If this were
what did
Beyond
they
Good
get
and
for
Evil
game
2, though, wouldn't that mean that they've employed a different new engine, which means that they would have
Probably.
which would mean they have to push back development.
Avatar.
Wait,
Really?
Avatar?
Remember,
Really?
they're the guys who developed the first Avatar game, and again, I still have to play it, but it seems to be very appreciated by the Ubisoft fans. So
Ubisoft? It's not 2000. It's not 2009 anymore, Ubisoft. People don't really
remember, this December is supposed to be the year of Avatar 2, so this might be the tie-in video game to that.
Really? I thought it was next year.
All right, it's still next year, but again, soon enough. So I get
Maybe
the
this is
idea.
coming out next year.
I get the idea. Ubisoft wants to have the ball rolling to be, to capitalize on that as well.
That being said, though, guys, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that Mario plus Rabbids would have been a better finale.
Still, no fucking Beyond Good and Evil 2. Oh
wow,
my god.
just... Oh...
Again, I'm wondering how much
Dweebs,
I had to do
I don't really care about, behind-the-scenes shenanigans. What about the actual video game, just for these occasions,
Whilst the
Dweebs?
fate here, maybe that's the reason.
Well, honestly, I'll just say this, Dweebs. If they cannot get those 3 games to the point where we can see more of them, why should we get excited for any of their other games that, for all we know, could just as much get delayed?
Alright, like I mentioned in our movie commentary, it was pretty much clear that, again, the idea they want to have for the Avatar sequels is the fact that humans are coming back to Pandora more armed than ever, so which means total war, which we seem to be following on that.
Really? That's it? That's what's going to be for the amazing sequel? Just we want a rematch?
That's the idea that I'm getting.
Yeah.
War. Why not have... Okay, if you want to focus on war, why not have it be another alien nation invading? Why has it got to be, the big bad humans?
Because remember, they're having the unobtainium crystals.
Whatever, Joe, but James Cameron at this point is nothing but a hack anyway.
Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora.
You know what?
2022.
If you can make something good of this, that's fine, but not really hype-worthy. Like, again...
Alright, the final montage.
Now, I do get it. We do have, apparently, the Avatar sequel coming soon.
Ubisoft Plus.
And I are gonna tear shit up!
Yeah, basically montage.
Yeah, this is not a montage. We're done, basically.
Pretty much.
yeah, guys, this was a pretty good Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope show, with some other stuff attached.
I'm pretty sure the Avatar game will actually be interesting to play, considering they want to pump up again the whole open world thing, and I think for Avatar it works better than in other games, but still... Not impressed overall.
Again, I don't
outright hate it, but I'm still not impressed.
I had some hopes when the Rainbow Six game they were showing at the start was at least seeming like it was going different, but then they just did the usual Ubisoft routine, show stuff that at best is overall fine, didn't really do much to grip me or anything. Again, except for Mario plus Rabbids.
Oh, there you go, that's the final narration.
We battled some Archeans in Rainbow Six Extraction. Learned some new songs and
meh.
Can I get this about final
Adrenaline Rush in Riders Republic.
Meh.
Hold on, Dweebs.
Hold on, Dweebs. They're giving the recap. That was meh. Hey, perfect recap.
And teamed up with our favorite man in overalls in Mario plus Rabbids.
Don't go anywhere. There's still more to come in the post-show.
Yeah, I don't think so. We can go. Go on, Dweebs.
Alright. So what's the next stream?
Microsoft.
Oh, good. So that's something else. That's something to look forward to a bit more than this one.
Well, what did you think?
I mean, it was like almost in the other ones.
Yeah.
A lot. It's very, very uneven. And again, it's like I said before. To say a conference sucks because it's got games you don't care about in it is extremely immature. But the main issue is that there wasn't much variety. It was just like mostly one franchise with little bits of other ones every so often. But it's like if your dinner consisted of like 80% mashed potatoes, 15% peas, and the other 5% is just and no stuffing. Yeah, I know. How thrilling is that? So yeah, that's Ubisoft's been Ubisoft's streams for the past few years. There's just been mostly one thing, and most of the others are just not really all that interesting anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Although I am at least interested to see how that new Avatar game turns out, because what I've heard is better than the movie.
Again, by the time we're recording this, I'm actually about to give it a look to the first movie's tie-in game. So we'll see also how that pans out. Again, it seems that Ubisoft seemed to actually love it. I distinctly remember them mentioning very proudly in a small presentation, and I guess we still hold up the license. I guess.
I will say this: I feel sorry for anyone who was expecting a new Splinter Cell game based off of those rumors.
That too.
You were saying, Shiroi?
Nah, I'm done.
Just very. Okay, no, just very quickly, since I am logged into Twitch. Just got a notification. No, I don't want a VIP card for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction. Go away, Ubisoft. Why?
Cute. They want to sell something. Okay.
All right. While you're at it, Shiroi, your final thoughts?
Mario plus Rabbids. Great. Love the first one. Gonna love this. Everything else just wasn't really for me. Not even the rhythm stuff.
The service, as I'm calling it.
The type that they the kind of rhythm games I like, really. The rest of the stuff is fine if you like that kind of thing. And that's it. This was variety, I guess, and that's it. Who's next?
Pedro?
Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
Well, that was a thing, I guess.
What's it really?
Mario and Rabbids looks cool, just like the first one, so kudos to that. Why exactly are we having a new Avatar game when nobody gives a shit about Avatar anymore?
Because sequel, movie, getting on that craze. So I'm surprised Ubisoft still hold the video game license, honestly.
I guess Disney just yes, we wanted to renew it in preparation of this, and Disney was like, sure.
Maybe.
All right. The point is, aside from Mario and Rabbids, nothing interesting, at least for me, was really. I mean, it's not that I'm pretty sure. I'm sure most of these games are fine for what they are. They're not. They're just not for me. And even the stuff that the Conquest stuff is still just at best serviceable. Riders Republic looks fun if you're into that sort of thing. What else did they show? The new Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansion.
DLC.
It looks fine, I guess, but I'm not interested. Rocksmith Plus. That's cool, I guess, but I don't really play guitar, so it's not for me.
Maybe you can learn with that.
Nah.
You just have to also
get a subscription.
You just have to also buy a guitar to get it as well. It's a fun game, service.
If I wanted to learn
if
I wanted to learn guitar, I would just ask my brother to teach me. So, anyway, no, again, okay. At least it was only 1 hour long, so it's not like it dragged too much.
Thank
goodness. It was only at the beginning that it was dragging, but after that it picked up the pace fairly quickly.
I'd argue it also dragged with Rocksmith and what was the thing that came after Rocksmith? That
Riders Republic.
Yeah, I felt that it dragged with those bits, but yeah, after that, I guess the pacing was overall better. That said, though, honestly, I feel like not much was really there at all, even.
No, overall, this was just a very mediocre event that didn't really do anything to really generate more goodwill towards Ubisoft.
So typical Ubisoft.
Yeah. So basically, Mario & Rabbids is the only highlight, and that's about it. Next.
Sure, why not? No, might as well. It's not the worst that I've seen of Ubisoft. I honestly believe still their worst conferences have been, at least from my memory, 2019's E3 and the forward of last year, the one that was in August, if I recall correctly. This
we're
is still
counting that.
Well, this is a Ubisoft forward. Remember, Jova, it's part of E3, but it's labeled as such.
True.
But anyway, the stuff that they showed is not technically offensive or super bad if you remove the behind the scenes stuff, if you're willing to do that. But only a few things were really impressive for me. Rainbow Six Extraction, like I said, it's an interesting turning point for the franchise, and if it still manages to please enough the fans of the previous games instead of PC MMOs, it's more of a win than anything. So there is that. I'm still not sure if I care enough, but it might be a situation like, say, Killzone, where if in a couple of years I see this game lying around for only a couple of bucks for a used copy, I might actually just pick it up. Because if I recall correctly, there is stuff like, say, some kind of single-player content for how short it might be. But I'm always interested for this kind of thing if I don't have to spend enough for them. Rocksmith Plus is sure a thing if you are, a fan of musical instruments. Again, it's a cool idea on paper, especially for people who are still stranded at home. Same goes for Just Dance, we'll get to it in a second. But this one, like the others mentioned, feels more unnecessary than anything, and we're still treating it like it's the best thing ever. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but not much more than that. Riders Republic, it's pretty much what they said, like, I think 2 years ago, or whatever it showed up. It's fine. Not for me. If you're a fan of Chris Port, it's fine. The Rainbow Six animated bit for the new announcer, operator, it's actually pretty nice. And we talked a bit over, but what we did announce with that was the cross-play and cross progression in, title releases of the game, which seems to be a thing that's coming out, in mass, because even Overwatch adopted it recently. It's once again, much like with the Rainbow Six Extraction, it's fine, but still not for me. And unlike Extraction, Siege does not really have that much that interests me, to be honest, aside from, some cool bits like animated stuff. Far Cry 6 didn't need to be here. Like, it's fine. The Giancarlo Esposito is a great actor, okay? Will not deny that. It's just that we've been bombarded with the marketing in recent days. Its presence at E3 should really feel unnecessary to be present here. The season pass announcements, on the other hand, it's something we didn't know, so it's fine that it's here, showcasing a bit of the past villains beyond 1 and 2. But that's pretty much it. It's Far Cry. If you like that kind of thing, you'll be right at home. Mario Plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is the clear announcement. It's a shame that it was actually leaked, because otherwise it probably would have been a better surprise. But it still looks, like the only game that has the most soul in this. We'll see how that turns out, especially because it's gonna be a while. I'm interested to see how the new Avatar game looks and plays. We'll see how that turns out, if it's actually tied to the movies or it's like its own standalone non-canon spin-off and all. We'll see. It's regardless, pretty interesting that Ubisoft is particularly caring about this particular license. It reminds me still also how much they care about stuff like the Peter Jackson's King Kong official video game, the one done by Michel Ancel's team. Still, okay, we knew again the absence of Skull and Bones and Prince of Persia, but again, yet another year without knowing anything about Beyond Good and Evil 2. Again, the last piece of news that we know is that Michel Ancel was allegedly, like we've said, kind of an asshole. Great. Can we now know more about the actual game? Now that we clearly know that things have fallen apart in that kind of sense, can we actually move forward with the game? Will it actually be completed anytime soon?
Awesome.
Is it that much to ask? And like I mentioned with Edge, well, okay, like also Joe Lista was saying before, again, the Splinter Cell fans also have had a rough day, considering Sam Fisher seems to only be a passing cameo in one of the trailers. I think it was for Rainbow Six Siege. But
and rest
still,
in peace to Rayman fans.
I was about to
Jesus.
mention the big star Rayman only showcasing a small quadrant of Rayman Origins doing the montage at the end.
Like, you know,
great.
I'll just say, at this point, just put Rayman into Mario plus Rabbids. Like, Rabbids technically originated from his series. It's not the best thing, but at least he'd have some exposure. And again, with Skull and Bones.
I mean, again, Joe, I'm talking strictly speaking to stuff that we knew could have been, but did not say anything. Because, again, I did it with Skull and Bones. I had my expectations set straight, beforehand. But again,
actually,
it's kind of a joke
question.
at this point.
Wait. Actually, you raised a good point, though. If they could let us know ahead of time that Skull and Bones and Prince of Persia weren't going to be there, why not just do the same with Beyond Good and Evil 2 and not get people's hopes up?
Yeah, I don't get that one either, because we actually did 2 years ago. We did mention beforehand to not expect Beyond Good and Evil 2, but we did not this year. So, what happened? I don't know. But again, Rayman is just depressing, but let's not even count even minor things like, say, UbiArt. Also, I think they forgot to mention that people also did mention on the SSMB, the Just Dance announcement did not have an actual musical number. What happened?
I mean, okay, I guess
it's tradition at this point.
I guess they had like a snippet of Todrick Hall's music video in it, but other than that... No, there was no
also,
musical
Yves
performance.
Guillemot's speech at the end, a saccharine sour and just pre-confectionate, just pre-made for the investors, like someone else said here. It's just ignore it. Again, just stick to the games that you might care about, mostly Mario plus Rabbids, but in my case, I'm caring also about Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. We'll see how that turns out. But overall, this was still really meh. Not the worst that happened, so at the very least, they managed to not dig themselves further than normal, but it's still pretty meh. Jova.
It's an Ubisoft show, and I do mean that in the bad way, because I've noticed the usual pattern at this point with our commentaries of Ubisoft. We think, oh, maybe they're finally going to change stuff up, and then they pretty much do the same problems. Now, I guess one thing I'll give them is that this show of theirs had more variety. That being said, I'm beginning to think it only had variety because there was arguably very little to this conference. Like, I think I could count the amount of actual substantial game announcements on the two of my hands that were shown at the show. And some of it did feel like they were dragging it, particularly with the first three announcements, that being of Rainbow Six, Extraction, Rocksmith, and Riders Republic or whatnot. None of those... Okay, each of those games have the issue. Unless you're uber dedicated to that stuff, it probably won't interest you. Especially the Rocksmith stuff, which, like I've said, ain't even really a video game. It's more like a service, honestly. It's, bang. Now, of course, the best thing shown was Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope. And not just because that had interesting IP characters in it. No, the gameplay is legit interesting. I'll admit, before that, I wasn't really a fan of the XCOM type of games. But no, that's a game that can actually garner you into it. The problem with a lot of Ubisoft's output is that it feels like you need to be a latent fan of stuff as opposed to something that's so good that it'll suck you in from the get-go. Alas.
It's also similar to the new Metal Slug game that is actually coming out in terms of structure, Jova. That's what I was referring while we were watching Filler Game Show the other day.
Pretty much. It's just that I wish that Ubisoft could, not try and be overly accessible, because we've seen what that can do with series like the Gears series, but I feel like Ubisoft could stand to try and, again, make stuff up so that it could garner new fans. Because, again...
there is a trace to it with Extraction, at the very least.
Yeah, and kudos to them for that. Again, maybe they could learn. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff they did today does not give off the inkling of learning. Also, you gotta love how they gave Todrick Hall, well, I assume they gave him that speech about how, all wonderful and all the goodness Just Dance does for the world and all that. That, or it was his own passionate speech he gave.
Every speech has to be an Oscar acceptance speech these days.
Pretty much. It's just... at this point, it's basically E3 fodder. If I had to give this one a grade, I guess I would have to give it a C+. It technically does work. That said, it is constantly, and I do mean constantly, teetering on the edge. In fact, you know what? Forget a C+, just a C. Not a C+, not a C-. Middle of the road C. Because, again, it gets the bare minimum to be considered a substantial enough show, but it constantly feels like it's fighting to reach that metric. The only point where I feel like it possibly excelled was with Mario plus Rabbids and maybe the Avatar game. And granted, that is connected to a franchise that, well... yeah, it was big in 2009, but not many people talk about it this day. Now, if that sequel does work out, kudos. But all the same, for a finale of a show, it would have been much better if they just ended with Mario plus Rabbids and we didn't have that, of course, Ubisoft president talking about how great they've been.
Again, I just genuinely believe Eve's at this, not even at this point, probably before when we just didn't notice as this big ego. Possibly even more than the CEO of EA, you know, Satan in a suit. Because at least that guy doesn't show up as frequently.
Yeah, Yeez is like, but he wants to be a friendly face that we can all trust, even though, no, we're
too
not
little,
going back
too
to
late.
That. Very much too little, too late. And I think that's just the best way to sum this show up. That being said, Mario plus Rabbids is surprisingly still a gift to humanity. It continues to make that, and I'll be happy. I mean, I won't forgive Ubisoft, but at least, you know, I'll have some evidence that there is good potential within them. So, that was our first E3 show to look at this year. Probably for the best it was the first one.
I mean, I still believe that the Joe Keighley, you know, Twitch promotion show from the other day was not super bad, just still not natively, you know, commentary worthy material. It's overall a warm start, I guess. The thing is, yes, Jova?
I think I might say that the Summer Games Fest at least felt like more of a substantial show.
There was more stuff, just simply put. I guess that's the advantage. But regardless, the next one, however, is probably going to be more interesting, but for what reasons we shall have to see, because it's Xbox plus Bethesda in one big happy family. We know for a fact but the one thing that I know for certain they're showing is EA showing up with gameplay for Battlefield 2042, because we did mention they're going to present there, so we'll have to look forward to that. Hooray! But other than that, we'll see, I guess. See ya.
See you for the next show.